Greetings, citizens, and welcome to Unknown. I'm Jason McClellan. I'm here with Maureen Elsberry and Shane Hurd, and we're happy you're here to hang out with us today. We'll be discussing another episode of History's Project Blue Book today, but first, a few announcements. Maureen and I are presenting a panel at Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle, Washington on Friday, March 15th, titled Real Life X-Files, Strange Stories of Real Paranormal Investigations. Emerald City Comic-Con runs from March 14th through the 17th at the Washington State Convention Center. For more information about the event and to buy tickets, go to emeraldcitycomiccon.com. Then June 21st through the 23rd, Ryan Sprague and I will be speaking at AlienCon in Los Angeles, California. And you just might see Shane and Maureen there too. We'll certainly be talking much more about AlienCon as it gets closer. TheAlienCon.com is the event's website. That's where you should go to learn more about the event, and it's where you can grab tickets. And Shane and I will be at UFO MegaCon in Laughlin, Nevada on March 30th. As the name implies, UFO MegaCon is a pretty big event. It runs from March 24th through the 30th, and it features something like 40 speakers. Check out UFOMegaCon.com for all the info on that event. All right, with announcements out of the way, let's get into this week's Project Blue Book discussion. As I mentioned, or as I like to mention on every episode, for those who might not be familiar with this show, the TV network History launched this new dramatic series this season titled Project Blue Book. This fictional series is based on the U.S. Air Force's real-life official UFO study that ran from 1952 through 1969. Although the show is fictional, it draws on real Project Blue Book cases, and the show's protagonist is a character named Dr. J. Allen Hynek, a real individual who served as a scientific advisor to the government on Project Blue Book and its predecessors, Project Sign and Project Grudge. Episode 5 featured a UFO-related phenomenon known as Foo Fighters. No, not the band of the same name, although this phenomenon is the source of the band's name. Some of you are probably aware that Dave Grohl, the frontman of the band Foo Fighters, is a self-admitted UFO fanatic. In addition to naming his band after something UFO-related, he's also the president of Roswell Records, which is an imprint of RCA Records, and the label also has a film subsidiary, Roswell Films. Just a little bit of fun info for you there. But back to Foo Fighters, the historical phenomenon, not the band. Maureen is going to give us a brief overview of the real Foo Fighter phenomenon. Maureen?
Sure. Well, first off, this is a day early, but I believe this Tuesday is Extraterrestrial Culture Day. So happy Extraterrestrial Culture Day to everyone.
Absolutely. We'll have to figure out how we're celebrating.
Stupid made-up holidays, yeah.
We'll participate.
Anyway, so, yeah, the Foo Fighters was kind of a common phenomenon, especially during World War II area times. So spotted all over the world pretty much, but there are some main cases, and I'll just cover super briefly the most popular incident that happened in November of 1944. But basically, there were reports coming in from the 415th Night Fighter Squadron that there were red and orange like fireballs that were chasing their planes and outmaneuvering them. And they weren't spotted on radar or seen from other places. And they said that they spotted these objects moving about 200 miles per hour next to the planes and had no idea what they were. So this gets talked about. These are pilots. They're trained to identify things in the sky. They were really concerned. They were scared. They didn't know what it was. Many people, once this started getting press, the term Foo Fighters, I should say, comes from a comic strip. So one of the pilots called them Foo Fighters off of this Smokey Stover comic, and which he was a fan of. So, kind of unknown fireball kind of thing. And people didn't know what it was. This is during war. So it wasn't really like these were aggressive things firing at them. But they were concerned, is this a military weapon of some sort? We do not know. And it was generally thought that perhaps it was a German secret weapon that wasn't really attacking, being tested. Or other people have suggested, this is something that, again, was investigated by Blue Book and was a feature for the Robertson's panel when that was, I think, in the 50s. So, was this static electricity? Some people accused it of being St. Elmo's fire, some sort of ball lightning. But these were objects that were coming up in a formation of 8 to 10. Sometimes people spotted them by themselves that were moving at extreme rates of speed, that were outmaneuvering these fighter pilots. So a concern because, again, unknown objects in the sky. Prior to us talking about this, we've talked before about how if it's a threat in the airspace, if you don't know what exactly it is. So these were really mysterious and then have been reported all over the place since then. And there's, again, like I said, there's these like blanket explanations people have suggested, but this is still technically an unknown case that we didn't know what these items were. Yeah, and like you said, especially during wartime, our thoughts were, this must be the other side having some technology that we don't know about. But at the same time, that's what they were thinking when they were saying that, saying, oh, this must be something the Americans have. We got to figure out what this is because this clearly isn't us. So you have all sides having these same thoughts. And the answer ultimately was, no, that's not ours. We don't know whose it is. So
yeah, in fact, I think they report them in both the European and the Pacific theaters. So they were, it wasn't just Germans, just Americans, but even included the Japanese. Right. So yeah, that's pretty freaky. There, if I remember correctly, Jason, wasn't there's a big case of Foo Fighters above Alaska that was widely reported, or am I making that up? No, I don't think you're making that up, but I can't recall the specifics of that. But now that you say that, that definitely rings a bell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did some sort of article or something on it one day. I'm sure we did. But I don't even remember when that was. I'm Googling this right now. It's so hard. And I will say this, like I mentioned to you guys, and like Jason said, Foo Fighters, the band, name is taken from this. So if you're interested in this case and you want to do your research on it, you have to be a little more aggressive with your keyword research, because if you search Foo Fighters or Foo Fighters UFO, you're not going to get a whole ton of information outside of UFO merch on the Foo Fighters band website. That's right. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah. But it's probably not what you're looking for. Well, now that we have the history, what did you think of how Foo Fighters were portrayed in the recent Project Blue Book episode, Shane? Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, actually. The entire episode, there were a couple things that caught my eye. One was the character Fuller. And if you remember, he's the pilot from the Gorman case, or Gorman himself, from the very first episode. And I was thinking, why didn't they use his real name, at the time, like they're using, Dr. Hynek and stuff. And then I realized, this guy is a fictional character that's threaded through all of the episodes so far. And so that's probably why they, fictionalized his name so they could continue to use him throughout, these episodes. So. Right. So I thought that was kind of cool, and that's at the point that it dawned on me. The other thing I thought was kind of interesting, they dropped the F-bomb in that show. I couldn't believe it. I mean, there's a little language there, but I think it was Quinn who did it. Did you guys notice that? No. What? I didn't catch that. It's part of such my everyday crude mouth. So no, I just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, that is funny, and it's fun. I need to go back and watch now. Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like these episodes always you have to watch them twice because you're going to miss things if you just kind of skim through it once. Oh, yeah. You know what I thought was really ridiculous in this episode as I was laughing. I'm like, oh, great. So now we officially have turned the Foo Fighter pilots into UFO summoners.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty ridiculous. Like, oh, here they come. It's like, they come when we call them.
With their big antenna in the back of their pickup that they made from washing machines and so forth.
Which is a little disappointing for me because one of the things about the Foo Fighters sightings and cases is that these are coming from really credible witnesses, and UFO summoning is not something I really hold super high regard of personally. So I don't know, it was a little dismissive for me.
But one thing I did enjoy in this episode is because there are so many pilots, the character Quinn, you can see him start processing this and saying, look, these are the guys that, I was in combat with these people. These are my boys, and I can tell how affected they are by whatever happened to them. And, they all have these similar stories of being taken away and having your brain wiped. And so he starts realizing that there might be something to this. And you can see he's starting to understand that maybe the people he's working for aren't such great guys.
Oh yeah. The other thing too that I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe I misread it. See what you guys think. But did it look like that they were trying to incorporate what are they called? Number stations, over the radio, and where this voice just lists several numbers and it repeats and repeats. Did you catch that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And that's really, a tie to the 50s and the whole spy thing where, this is codes that are put out and the receivers know what they mean and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I thought that's kind of interesting detail to weave into this whole thing as well.
And I like
I'm sure they just, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like how you bring up that weaving, because that's a big focus, I think, of the creators here. And they're trying to, in their 10-episode series, to weave as much as they can into this storyline, into this world that they're creating. And a lot of it, from UFO lore, just sort of, even though it might not have anything to do with the particular case that they're using for that particular episode or the time period that they're necessarily talking about, they're weaving a lot of stuff from UFO lore into this series. And, there are plenty of people who think that is a bad thing because it, creates a false impression or gives people the wrong information. But honestly, anybody who's taking what they see on TV and using that, as real information probably needs a little help. But, it's a good, in my mind, it's a good starting point for people to get those wheels turning and to get the interest there, so people start doing the research and looking into these things themselves, looking into not only the cases, but also these interesting things that are being woven into the story that do come from UFO lore. So I like it. Being a UFO geek, I've said it before, I enjoy seeing all those things thrown in there because, you watch these episodes, oh yeah, they're pulling that from that particular thing from UFO history. And it's fun for me. But I can see the other side, people being displeased at the misrepresentation of history.
Yeah. And it was just announced this weekend that they got renewed for season 2.
Yeah, that's right.
So awesome. Even more inaccuracy and or accuracy coming your way too.
That's right. That's cool. A whole season.
Yeah. Yeah. But there are a lot of programs on these channels that are like that, right? And it is always, it's this blend of fact and fiction that frankly makes really awesome stories. I mean, it's great entertainment, but yeah, you do have to be discerning about those facts and don't take it to the bank. But thing is there'll be two kinds of people, right? Those who are intrigued enough to do some personal research and discover, the accuracies. And then you have people that are really just looking for entertainment and they'll watch it just for that and they're not going to research it any further. And, that's fine too.
That's right, Shane. Both of those are perfectly fine. Because you know what? Not everybody needs to research UFOs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, we like to say UFOs is not a religion, although a big chunk of it does hinge on belief. It's not a religion, and it doesn't need to be forced down people's throats, and we don't need to convince people and tell them how they should believe or what they should believe. We're all individuals. People need to make up their own minds and decide how and what they want to do with this information, if anything at all. For a good chunk of people watching this show, they're enjoying the entertainment value. They're casually interested in the subject. They're enjoying a good show about that subject. If that's what they want to do, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and stay away from the religion stuff. I mean, I was just watching a documentary about Heaven's Gate the other day. That was
gets pretty dangerous there.
A different kind of UFO religion that you don't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yep. Scary stuff.
Yeah. Well, as usual, I like to point out that history provides information about the real cases they used for inspiration in Project Blue Book right on the network's website. They show this information immediately following the episodes when they air on television. But if you're interested in hearing even more, I recommend visiting History's website, which is history.com, to watch the short videos they've produced that feature UFO historian Richard Dolan and the lauded UFO researcher Jacques Vallée. They're pretty interesting, and they're right on the website. You can watch them for free. So check that out if you're interested. And I just want to mention, for our friends in the UK who have been dying to see Project Blue Book, it was just announced that Sci-Fi acquired the rights to bring Project Blue Book to the UK. So look for that in March. Also, as Maureen mentioned, History has ordered a second season of Project Blue Book. So we'll have 10 new episodes to look forward to next year. It's cool to see how successful the series has been for History. And according to entertainment news website Deadline Hollywood, Project Blue Book has helped, quote, propel History to the #1 entertainment network in cable on Tuesday nights in prime among total viewers. That's huge. So congrats to those guys. I'm looking forward to more of this show. And we're only halfway through season 1. So we still got plenty more to go on this season. So episode 6 of Project Blue Book airs on February 12th. And that episode is titled The Green Fireballs. I am fascinated to see what they do with this. As we all know, green fireballs are still to this day commonly reported UFOs. So
I have seen one myself.
I have as well.
Pretty sure it was a meteor, but...
yeah, same here. Well, it's interesting. I look forward to it. Well, citizens, as we wrap up this episode, we invite you to come join us in the Rogue Planet Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Rogue Planet and let us know what you thought of the 5th episode of Project Blue Book or anything else UFO related that's on your mind. You can find more episodes of Unknown on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and yes, even YouTube. Subscribe on your favorite podcast provider so you're notified when we publish new episodes. And we invite you to rate and review Unknown on your favorite podcast platform. But posting reviews on Apple Podcasts is what helps the show the most. That and sharing the show with friends. That's the small favor we're asking you. Post these episodes all over social media and help introduce new people to Unknown. Big thanks to our talented friend and fellow Rogue Planeteer Caleb Hanks for the show's intro and outro music. To check out more of Caleb's exceptional creativity, visit his website, theclerkchronicles.com. You can always find this show at rogueplanet.tv because Unknown is a Rogue Planet production. Rogueplanet.tv is your home for all the strange. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. I'm Jason McClellan.
I'm Maureen Elsberry.
And I'm Shane Hurd.
Do us a favor, friends. Always treat the UFO subject with the cautious and responsible skepticism it deserves. Question everything. Have the courage to form your own opinions. Keep truth as the focus of your quest, even if the truth conflicts with your own opinions. And, of course, stay strange.